I just wanted to make an announcement before we kick into our book. You guys have already heard a little bit about it at Paradigm. Project Impact is awesome, right, Levi?
Yeah.
And we have applications available for Project Impact, which is a discipleship training program in the summer. It's a 9-week program in Kansas City, and it's really, really great. Oh, 20, that's good. It's really great. We would highly recommend for you guys to look into that. Look into Project Impact. It's going to be a very good use of your summer because it's an investment into your spiritual growth. It prepares you to really do ministry well coming into the next school year. And it also prepares you to walk with God faithfully, dynamically, really for the rest of your life. So, if you guys have an inkling of a desire to grow in faithfulness and be challenged in discipline, learn some integral skills like sharing your faith, having a consistent quiet time, learning how to live out your faith in the workplace and share the gospel there, check out Project Impact. It really is worth it. It's life-changing. Application packets available. I would urge you guys, pick one up. Check it out and pray through it. As you fill it out, pray through it. Pray through being available to do Project Impact next summer.
Where are the packets at?
The packets, Morgan, do you know where the project packets are? Does Katie have them like in her office? You don't have to check. If you're interested, just talk to a staff member and we'll make sure you get one. Cool? If you haven't already got one at Paradigm. We will probably have them at successive paradigms to come. All right, let's go ahead and turn in your Enjoying God books to chapter 2, God our Father. All right. Yeah, and make sure, has everybody gotten the attendance sheet? Everybody good? Each of the tables? Cool. Okay. So starting off, I'm just going to read this opening paragraph from chapter 2. Jesus taught his disciples to call God our Father. The Bible teaches that God is all that a father should be to his children. He loves, protects, and provides for and trains them. Okay, so who can look up Ephesians 2, verses 4 through 5 for me? If you guys haven't really dug into the story of the prodigal son there in Luke chapter 15, I would recommend it because it is such a powerful illustration of God's love for us, God's mercy to us, and our relationship with him as our Father. So can anybody give me the account in their own words of how this illustrates God's love for us? Some versions say that he waits to be gracious to you. He exalts himself to show mercy to you. And I think that kind of goes back to what Amy was saying about intrinsic motivation. God is actually longing to show us grace. It delights him to show us grace and mercy and compassion, to forgive us when we don't deserve to be forgiven, to love us when we don't deserve to be loved. And that's what we see a little bit with the story of the father in the prodigal son, is he's waiting to pour out this unconditional love on his son. Really huge. Let's move over to the Father's provision on page 13. Ephesians chapter 3, verse 20 says, "Now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask and imagine, according to his power at work within us." Verse 21 goes on to say, to him be the glory in the church and in Christ Jesus throughout all generations, forever and ever. So, and Matthew 6, 31 and 32, kind of expands on this. What is a reason that we as God's children shouldn't worry according to those verses? Yeah, Matthew 6:31 and 32 talks all about, the birds of the field, or the birds of the air and the flowers of the field are well cared for, and are we not of greater value than them? So God will provide everything that we need. And that kind of sets the stage. And I think Ephesians 3:20 takes it a step further and says, not only will he provide everything that we need, but he's going to do immeasurably more than all we can ask and imagine. He's going to go beyond the fathoms of your understanding. Anything that you could ever imagine, God can surpass that with his goodness, his provision, and his care for us. And if we really believe that, then shoot, why would we worry? Right? Why would we ever worry about anything if God can bless me even more than I could ever imagine being blessed? That's better than anything I've drawn up for myself. Right? Now, with what we have that has been provided by God, how does God expect us to respond? How does he expect us to turn around and use those things? Yeah, absolutely. And this here in 1 Timothy 6:17 on question 11, what does he expect us to do with it there? So one part of it is making sure to not get things twisted and put our hope in the provision rather than the provider. Because the provision cannot provide itself. Only God can. What's the thing that he says at the end of 1 Timothy 6:17? Have you guys found it? To enjoy. Right? So part of the reason that God has provided us with the things that he's provided us with is to enjoy them. Right? We probably don't think about that very much. We maybe get trapped into some sort of asceticism where we feel like true Christianity is not enjoying anything. Right? Or only enjoying really spiritual things. It's more holy to not enjoy things. But what are some ways that, even with the physical provision God has given us, or relational, or things that we deem as less important, what's a way that we can enjoy those things in a godly manner? Can you guys think of any examples? So we can even enjoy relationships. We can really enjoy all things that aren't sin that have been provided to us from God. But I think we do get trapped into this kind of stereotypical Christian mantra that says, I'm not allowed to enjoy things. I need to sacrifice it all, which means I'm not allowed to have fun. Sacrificing it means just having it with an open hand. Counting all things as a loss means not being entitled to any of it, but when God sees fit to be gracious to us and grant us these blessings, to rejoice in our generous God. Psalm 16:11 says, you make known to me the path of life. At your right hand there is fullness of joy, and in your presence are pleasures forevermore. I think I reversed that. But yeah, it's like there's fullness of joy and pleasures forevermore whenever we walk with God and live according to his will. Okay, moving on to page 14. I just want to hear what some of you had to say here on these thinking man questions. Knowing God's protection should eliminate fear, and knowing his provision should eliminate worry. What fears and worries do you experience? Who would be willing to share some of those? You know something cool about Philippians 4:6-7? It's one of the only passages in the Bible that speaks on prayer without saying, and whatever you ask will be given to you, or something along those lines. It doesn't really. It just says, Don't worry about anything, but every request you have, offer it up to God. And then the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. So in this case, praying, it doesn't necessarily yield whatever result you were praying for, though it does many times. But the big result and the outcome is this peace. Why do you guys think that praying and offering up any request that we have to God would bring about peace? Yeah, relinquishing control of the situation. Basically saying, God, I can't handle this, but I know you can. And that's what we really say whenever we offer our prayers up to God, is saying, God, I trust that you can handle this. I entrust this situation, whatever I'm concerned about, whatever is important to me, I entrust it into your hands, your capable hands. And when we do that, it's just like a little child, maybe with their parent, that feels safe, maybe holding mom or dad's hand, walking across the street, right? There's that, it's not in my control anymore. It's in their hands. And therefore, just peace fills us. Okay, just going to touch on the Father's training real quick. Everybody, let's turn to Hebrews 5. Hebrews 5, 11 through 14 says, about this we have much to say, and it is hard to explain, since you have become dull of hearing. For though by this time you ought to be teachers, you need someone to teach you again the basic principles of the oracles of God. You need milk, not solid food. For everyone who lives on milk is unskilled in the word of righteousness, since he is a child. But solid food is for the mature, for those who have their powers of discernment trained by constant practice to distinguish good from evil. So let's go ahead and share what you guys listed here on the difference between a mature believer and an immature believer. Or what this listed as what they are versus what they should be. Now here's my question. Has anybody here ever felt maybe that the profile of what they are here described you more so than the other one? I know I have. I know that I have felt, man, I just need the basics. I know that I've felt, I'm just like a child. I don't understand anything. I'm not skilled in the word. I felt dull of hearing, like I'm not really practicing the things that I've learned. So what does that call us to do? First of all, actually, we talked about teachers. They should be teachers. What does this indicate for us? The fact that they should be teachers. What are the implications there?
They know the material well enough to share something.
Yeah, they know their faith. They know this thing into which they've surrendered their lives well enough to actually pass it on.
But that indicates that if you are on solid food, you should be teaching.
Yeah. If you are on solid food, if you are growing in maturity, the expectation for us as believers is that we should be turning around and passing it on. We should be teaching. 2 Timothy 2:2, entrust what you have heard from me in the presence of many witnesses to faithful men who will be able to teach others also. I think a lot of times we miss that, right? You might have more of a consumerism Christianity that says, what can I get? What can I get? What can I get? And it stops with us. But if we can shift our mentality to become like that of Jesus, we'll remember to teach others the things that he has taught us. We'll remember to teach others the things that our mentors have taught us. We'll remember to pass on the things from the scriptures that we're reading and learning and growing in. We'll remember to encourage people by sharing experiences that we've had that have caused us to grow up in our faith. Anybody had a trial of any kind in the past year? I have. Something hard, right? And God allows us to have those trials, but He doesn't expect us to keep them to ourselves. He expects us to be thinking constantly of the next generation. What is the next generation of people that I can be influencing? And that's what we want for you guys in this class, in ownership. We want you guys to be influencers. I want you guys to be influencers. I know you guys want to be influencers. Some of you may be scared of it. Some of you may be chomping at the bit. But at the end of the day, we want to be well skilled in the word of righteousness, fully mature, so that the next generation can hear and grow and pass it on to the next generation. Right? On that note, we're going to watch a video after a short break, kind of on the idea of passing on what we've learned. We're going to show you a video right now. This is an old video, so take that into account. It's old, but it's good. It's about discipleship. You're going to actually see a familiar face, maybe a couple familiar faces in this video. I want you guys to really pay attention. I know it's late and you've had a long day, but if you can take some notes, write down some key things that people say, this 15-minute video is jam-packed with solid stuff, okay? And there's going to be an assignment based on it. So you guys really pay attention. All right. So I was planning on us having a little bit more time to break into groups and discuss this, but instead I'm just going to give it to you as homework, okay? So really all I want you to do, this is your homework, Enjoying God, chapter 3. I forgot to look up the memory verse. Does anybody have their syllabus on them?
Is that Luke 9:23?
Could be.
Sounds right.
You emailed it to us, right?
The syllabus? We'll go with Luke 9:23. If it's different, I'll tell you. Because Luke 6:46 was this week. Well, you should have had that by this week. Then a reminder that 2-page essay is due Thursday. This coming Thursday. And, I want you to take something that you got from this video, and guess what I want you to do with it? Pass it on. Okay? I want you to pass it on. Something that you took from this paper, the idea of investing your life spiritually in people to make a difference. I want you to pass that on to somebody. It could be your roommate. It could be somebody that you're meeting with to disciple them. It could be somebody that is in your family. It could be a friend. It could be a lost person. Whatever. Just pass it on, okay? And then I do want you to write up just a short account of who you passed it on to and kind of how that went. And turn it into me next week, okay?
The paper is about what God's done in our life this semester so far.
Yes. The essay is how has God grown you or challenged you this semester? And how do you see yourself living out a missional lifestyle in the context of your village this school year?
Did you email that to us?
No, I forgot. Morgan, will you remind me to email everybody the prompt for that essay and to email them the Leroy Imes excellence message? I didn't do that either. So if you guys didn't get a chance to listen to Excellence, who listened to Excellence by Leroy Imes? Woo, go Catherine and Levi. I'm going to email that to you guys too. And then we'll discuss that next week. Okay? All right. Any questions?